How do you book exams independently of a school? There's no two ways about it. Our exam system is set up to service schools. It is not set up to sit exams if you are home education or wanting to sit different exams to those at school, especially if you want to do it at age 16. It's not an easy system to navigate without advice. So, this is why, when I was forced into home educating my own daughter more than 20 years ago, I put her back into school age 14. She didn't want to go, but I couldn't find or figure out an easy way of putting her through her GCSEs. So, back to school, a different school than the one I'd pulled her out of, but back to school she went. And I was a teacher, and I still didn't know how to put her through exams. So, how are you supposed to find your way through this system if you have no experience of school or being a teacher working within school, the school system? It is possible to put children through GCSE exams independently of schools and A levels. It's not easy and it's definitely not cheap. I'm going to talk about it now because very soon, if you want your child to sit exams this summer, this coming year, it's going to be either too late or more expensive for you to actually sit those exams for or put them in for those exams. And now I'll tell you why. So, if you want to sit your child to sit exams May, June, you need to get it booked before mid-February. Usually around about February the 14th, which is the first cut-off date. After that time, exams will go up in price. That's because the exam boards want you to enter your child early so that they know what the numbers are, where they are, and can organise themselves. So you can enter after that date, but every single moment that you leave it longer than that date, it is going to cost you more money. So, next thing, where are you going to be able to enter your child to sit exams? Now, that is often the hardest thing. And the amount of spaces there are out there in private exam centres are very limited. So again, if you haven't already thought about this and you haven't started thinking about where your child's going to sit your exams, you need to look now. It may already be too late in some areas. So especially for maths and English, the most popular subjects, the exam centres, far and few between, do not have massive numbers of seats. You need to think about it. So I would suggest, if you're thinking about GCSE exams, you need to get this in place in year 10 or when their child is sort of 14, 15 years, at least a year before you actually want them to sit the exams, so that you know where you're going, you know what exams you're sitting, you research what it's going to cost you and all the things that you need to do to get yourself prepared. It's already becoming too late. So where are these exam centres? How do you find out where there's an independent exam centre that you can use? Well, I know that the JCQ, that's the Joint Council for Qualifications in the UK, holds a searchable list of exam centres. I'm not convinced that they have every single exam centre in the country on there that you can access, but they are there. There is a search. It will be a good place. The other thing that I did, because I've been doing this for the last 10 years, advising children who come to me and adults who come to me for tutoring, because I do so much exam preparation. The other thing I did is that I just Googled it, have a look and see what local exam centres are. And the other thing I did is that I phoned around some of the local secondary schools to see if they had any places. Some schools will allow you, especially if it's a child that has been at their school at some point in time, they will allow you to go back to sit the exams. You would have to pay, as well as the exam fees, a little bit of an admin fee on top, but it's probably cheaper than that's your private exam centres. But many schools will just say they haven't got spaces, especially if it's for maths and English language, which is the most popular exams. So, thing to do is, if you think you might want to use a local school, is to actually phone the school and ask to talk to their exams officer, because that's who organises the exams, and they will know if they're likely to have space or not. As school numbers are going down, they might have space. I know a few years ago here in Peterborough, I couldn't find anywhere. Even the schools that I'd worked at previously were like, I'm sorry, Jill, but actually, we just don't have space. But I do know there are independent exam centres out there. It's possible some private schools might allow you to do it. It just takes time, phone calls and searching. Now, and the last thing to think about is the cost. Okay, entering your child for exams privately is not cheap. You are going to be looking at £200 to £300 a minimum for each subject. Yeah, it is not going to cost you less than £1,000 if you want to sit them a full set of exams. And to get into many college courses, your child will need to have 5 GCSEs. So really, you need to think about this. I'm not saying you can't enter your child outside of the school system. You absolutely can, but it's not cheap and it's not easy. So if you are wanting to do this in the future, get out there and research it early. And if you're thinking about pulling your child out of school in year 10 or year 11, be warned, you will have to pay and it will cost you. Good luck.